Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us tonight for the most chaotic wrestling review show in the multiverse. This is All For
NAWT, not.
Not.
Yes, and we are back again here on Wednesday. This is December 13th, I'm sorry, for another episode of All for Not. We are going to review Deadline from last Friday, and then Monday Night Raw from Monday, and NXT from last night. So, unless you got anything without anything to talk about before we jump into Deadline, we can just jump right in.
Let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in. So last Friday night, I don't even know what the date is. I have to look at that. It was dun 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 the 8th. Friday the 8th of December was NXT's Deadline. I assume this is their last pay per view of the year. It started off. Hey, I was actually very surprised. For the first time in as long as I can possibly remember, they had a match on the kickoff show. I can't remember last time WWE did that, honestly. Um, Axiom defeated Nathan Frazier on the kickoff show. What did you think of this match?
Solid. Good opener.
Yeah, I like both of these guys. I'm a little surprised at Axiom won just because it feels like they've kind of been pushing Nathan Frazier a little bit, but at the same time,
I can't hear you. I think your audio kicked out.
oh,
Okay, you're back.
can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Since this is live, we can't really pause it. So if it happens, you just got to kind of work through it. So let's see. We had Dragon Lee defeating Dominic Mysterio we had a title change. I was very happy with this actually, and finally it makes sense. Finally, it makes sense. If he wasn't, I was of the mindset if Dragon Lee loses here, why is he even in the match again? Why are we running it back? Why are we doing it again? What's going on here if Dragon Lee loses? But he won, so in my opinion, it makes sense. Um, we'll see what happens now with Dominic and does he spiral a little bit? Does Rhea, whatever, not bat her eyes quite so much? Does it make a difference? Does he get to get it back? Does he get an automatic rematch? What do you think? What's going on here? What's the long term?
Things aren't looking good for Judgment Day.
They definitely are not.
At least they should hold the tag championships and stuff for a while. I don't see anybody
Yeah.
beating Rhea in the foreseeable future. Maybe Jade Cargill, but
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what they're even going to do with Jade. I mean, we haven't even seen her wrestle yet, right? So
oh,
who knows
and
what the.
Damien is still senior Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
But
he
I
is.
mean,
He
do
is.
we really believe that's gonna be a successful cash in?
I don't know. I mean, I've been saying this, and I'll say it again. I'll repeat it again. The longer that these things go out, the less and less I care about it, right? So the longer he holds that briefcase, the less excitement I think it actually has. No matter when he actually turns it in, win, lose, whatever. If you do it when it's hot, you just want it. You do it within a week or two, even a month, of when you just want it at Money in the Bank. You're hot, you're excited, everything's still fired up. That's great, but especially after now he's guilty of doing the same thing that they've all done, which is WWE's. This is what they do with the Money in the Bank people. They run down. They think they're going to do it. They act like they're going to do it. They either use it as a way to distract somebody, or by the time they can actually cash in, something else has happened, so they've decided they haven't, or it wasn't a legitimate cash in, and it gets long in the tooth and it gets old and boring. And now this is the formula. It feels like for Money in the Bank winners. That's just what they do. Let's see. We
I
had
mean, what
next.
about Seth Rollins when he cashed in at Mania?
No, I mean there's definitely anomalies to it, but just as a general rule, it feels like this is the formula. I mean, it just You got to wait a while. You pretend like you're going to do it. You use it either as an advantage to win a couple matches, and when you don't really intend to, or when you do intend to, something happens and you can't, and before you know it, it's been 6 months or 8 months or whatever. I mean, you know, if you want to do, I mean, I'm much more for, and I know, and I can't remember, I can't put my finger on it because it's happened, but I know it's happened at least once or twice when someone's just said, "I've got the briefcase." I think John Cena might have said it, maybe or not. I don't know. I've got the briefcase. I'm going to take my shot at X pay-per-view. That's just the way it is. Until that date, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm holding it until then, whoever the
That's the
champion is.
babyface move. Damien ain't a
Right.
babyface.
No, he definitely is not, for sure, for sure. And I don't expect him to do that. This is definitely heel stuff. At the same time, I just think it gets a little boring the longer they drag it out. Then we had the women's title, number one contender, Iron Survivor Challenge match. Blair Davenport got the win here, which he was the one that I picked.
Hmm.
What do you think
She
about
made the
this?
most sense.
Yeah,
Uh, it was solid.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, I
I don't
go
feel
ahead.
like NXT's wrestling is as good as it was back in the day. You know.
No, I mean, if this is the new crop, if we're talking about Fallon, Blair Davenport is a separate situation. B Priestley is a separate. But if we're looking at maybe Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan, the Lash Legend, Tiffany Stratton, whatchamacallit, Lyra Valkyria is better than those guys. But if they're trying to push these guys as the next kind of group from NXT of young women with talent, I'm not here for that. I mean, when you look back at the
Uh,
women that have come out of NXT, it's like, yeah, these guys pale a lot in comparison.
yeah.
So
Blair is clearly the best out of the group.
no doubt,
Tiffany is number two, and
yeah.
like
The
Tiffany
the
can't do a
rest,
Boston Crab.
no, and the
She can
rest
do a
feel like
moonsault.
jobbers. Really, I
Yeah.
mean, no disrespect to Kalani Jordan, but um, they all feel like jobbers after those two, really. I mean, and Blair, I think Blair's ready for the main roster, honestly. I think they're wasting her in
Yeah.
NXT at this point. I mean, not that NXT doesn't need good, solid wrestlers, and not that I don't like when they have people that stay. I just think she could be competing with Charlotte and Asuka and those guys on the main roster. I think she's
Oh
that
yeah.
good. So,
The thing is that a lot of these women like they don't. I don't see the potential.
yeah, I agree. I
Um,
completely agree.
and like even with Tiffany Stratton, who's the second best of this match, like she's no Mariah May, and Mariah May's only been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no doubt there are some people that take to it faster than others, as we've seen, right? It takes some people a lot longer to develop, to learn, whatever, than it does others, So, yeah, um, Mariah May is definitely progressing fast. She
Oh,
seems to have an innate ability for it. So, um,
oh, Tony, book her in matches. Book her in matches already. Come on.
yeah, I mean, I thought this match was okay, but like we've talked about, Blair being the best wrestler out of the group and Tiffany
Hmm.
the second best, and she's really green, meant that there wasn't what I would call a whole lot of great wrestling per se in this match. I thought it was okay, but yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't. I wouldn't say, oh, this is something you have to go back and watch for sure. It wasn't definitely
Uh,
wasn't like that.
it would have been better if Roxanne was in the match, but we, have to have that feud continuing on.
I am excited for Blair Davenport versus Lyra Valkyria at New Year's Evil. I think that should be good. I don't know, in my personal opinion, Blair Davenport should always be beating Lyra Valkyria at this point in their
Yes.
careers. But I
Yes.
also don't know. Lyra just got the title, and I don't know if they're going to put it on Blair at this point, even though they should.
Well,
So
she's had it for a minute.
she has, but she's only had what, three title defenses? I think 3 or 4 title defenses. I mean, it hasn't been
I
very
mean,
long. I mean,
Lyra's held the title longer than all of Sasha Banks's title reigns, aside from one in WWE.
okay. Well, I mean, I guess that in compare. Well, yeah. I mean, well, they always did her wrong too, so it is what it is. Let's see. Then we have Carmelo defeat Lexus King, which was kind of an odd match. I mean, not odd match. The match itself was fine. The outcome I thought was weird. I don't
I thought it was going to be Lexus King due to him, it's, his
doing
big,
something.
pay-per-view debut, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they really want to push him, and at the same time, you put him in a match with kind of NXT Golden Boy Carmelo Hayes, right? So like, Melo doesn't lose a lot. I mean,
No.
so I mean, what was the plan here? Like, it would be a big upset, in my opinion, for Lexus King to win here. So it's kind of like, Lexus is not probably going to win, but at the same time, you're trying to push him. Why are you putting him in matches against guys that everyone knows he's going to lose to, and then he takes a loss on his first pay per view? Like, it's weird. I don't know.
Like
Um,
Melo, Braun, and Dragunov, the three most recent NXT champions, you know, like those
yeah.
are the dudes who were booked the best.
Let's see. We didn't really talk about this, but Cora Jade is back. What do you think
Yeah.
about her being back? Sand skateboard kind of now she's the bad girl. Like she's all of a sudden like has this attitude about her, and she's the bad girl, and the bad girl's back, which I thought was kind of weird. Like I never really saw her that way before, and so I was kind of like, okay,
I f-
does it
feel like
move the
that
needle for you at
gimmick would
all?
be better for Gigi Dolan. Gigi Dolan really needs something because she is just stagnant water.
Yeah. Trick and Mello apologize to each other for whatever, or yeah. For thinking it was him. Then we get the men's Iron Man Survivor Challenge match. Braun Breaker versus Dijak versus Josh Briggs versus Trick Williams versus Tyler Bate. This was very weird to me because I saw the outcome on accident before I watched the match, and I was like, by the time the match happened and we were at 24 minutes and 40 seconds and Trick still had a zero and there were only 20 seconds
Yeah.
left, I'm thinking to myself, how is he going to get fucking 4 falls to win this thing whenever two of the other three guys have 3 falls? And lo and behold, in like 20 seconds, Trick Williams pulls out like fucking 4 falls. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. I must have read something wrong somewhere. I must have, seen something wrong because I was like, this is unreal. So this match came off better than the women's match. These guys, there's some really good wrestlers here. Josh Briggs, Tyler Bates are solid wrestlers. Dijak's really good. Braun Breaker's getting better. Trick Williams is growing. So there's a lot of good wrestling going on here. Um, I don't like the way Josh Briggs, is the man with the least amount of points. Um, they
It's
keep doing
such
him
a
in.
drastic change looking from the women's match to this match because it's
It is. It was like
like
night
with
and
the
day
women
for
you
sure.
have 1.5 stars in the match. With this, like
Yeah,
you you could make an argument that all these dudes are stars. Like when you
yeah.
go to Dijak, his matches against Keith Lee back in
Il-
the day.
Keith Lee and then Ilya just most recently he's had some real bangers against Ilya. But yeah, Keith Lee, that
Braun,
feud against Keith Lee is a classic NXT feud. I mean, that's
yeah,
you
Braun
know,
Breaker, former NXT World Champion.
yeah, absolutely.
Tyler Bate was the first UK champion.
He was. He absolutely
Trick
was. Yeah,
Williams is possibly the hottest thing in NXT right now.
yeah.
And then
So
Josh
I thought,
Briggs, which we haven't seen too much out of him on NXT. We saw plenty of him in Evolve,
and
and
we know what
like
he can
he
do. It's just a matter of time until he, you know, should be let off the leash, right? I mean, and pushed. I mean, that's my thought. I mean, um, yeah. I mean,
like
I was disappointed that he
you
had
and
the
I
least
both
amount of
agree
points
that
here.
looking at the NXT talent, he's a top 10 talent in NXT. Like he might be
I
8 or
agree.
9, but he's a top 10 talent.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. That's why I was disappointed that he had the least amount of falls in this match. Um, I thought this match, like you said, it was definitely a stark contrast to the women's match. I thought it came off a lot better. I enjoyed this one. I don't necessarily like the end. I mean, I can appreciate the fact that after 24 minutes of running around the ring, it's much easier to win with the schoolboy or one move that wouldn't win in the first minute or 5 minutes because people are tired and all that stuff. They've taken a beating. I get that. At the same time, I still don't really like it. The idea that he got 4 pins in like 25 seconds, I didn't really care for that. I thought it was a little whatever, but okay. I thought it kind of shitted
Um,
on everybody else to a certain extent, but okay.
I do feel the need to bring up the downside to Josh Briggs, though.
Yeah.
The people who he's been working with.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like those
No
storylines
doubt.
are just it's like they're trying to be Degrassi, but like not good.
Yes. No. Shawn Michaels has not done him any favors by pairing him with Brooks Jensen and Fallon Henley. That and well, who was it? Was it Keanu James that it was before too? That was
Yes,
part of that
the one
whole.
with the purse.
So, yeah. So that yeah, that whole thing was not. That's not good for Josh Briggs. Like I said, they need to just let him be the killer that he is. Let him off the leash and just be the wrestler that he is, and just be because he was just a a beast and evolved just kind of Moxley esque in personality, but with kind of the move set of like the better, a more kind of technical move set. So
I I prefer seeing him in a tag team with Baron Corbin.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Let's see. Trick got the win here, as we've discussed. So he is the number one contender for whoever wins our main event when we get there between Ilya and Corbin. Next, we had Kiana James versus Roxanne Perez in a steel cage match. What'd you think of this? This is your girl.
It was so weird that they did the street fight before the steel cage match because I feel like the street fight should be the blow off, and they
Yeah.
did that at the last pay per view.
I'm assuming this is the blow off. I'm assuming this is the last match. I mean,
I hope it is, but well, no, because Kiana James won, so now they're 1-1.
yeah, they are technically 1-1. My
So,
guess is they'll have a third at some point, right?
hmm what do they do now? Street fight, steel cage match. Are they doing? Are they going to do a Hell in a Cell, or are they going to do a?
No, they just go backwards. So they started with the street fight. Now they're at the steel cage. This will just be a normal one-on-one match. The last one, the rubber
God damn it!
match. One fall, pinfall, submission, no
Can we at least
DQ
have
or
some
DQ.
fun? Like make it a first blood match or something.
uh, I thought this was okay.
Oh,
I
tables match. It'll be a tables match.
there you go. Roxanne Perez is a good wrestler. She's getting better all the time. I think she's grown a lot, even though she was already pretty good.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I think
Ring of
she's
Honor
ready for the
Women's
main.
Champion at like
Yeah, no,
19 years old.
right. No, I think she's ready for the main roster at this point. Uh, I don't know where she fits in the main roster. I don't know what show, whether it's SmackDown or Raw or what she should be doing feud wise, but I think she's ready for the main
I
roster.
actually disagree.
Yeah, you like her
I
better in
think,
NXT?
well, she's very young,
Yeah,
and if she goes to the main roster, she'll be, a jobber, unfortunately. I'd rather treat her like a big talent in NXT for like a good time, and like she can run that division. Blair should go to the main roster.
right. Yeah, I was a little surprised that Keanu James got the win here. I expected Roxanne to win. But I guess if they want to do this a third match, then they split them 1-1, so they got to have the grudge match, the rubber match. So I guess in that
Although
regard, it makes sense. But in
I
my
do want
mind,
to see
Keanu James
Roxanne
shouldn't be
Perez versus
beating.
Bailey.
Mhm.
Like if we can like just get that match on like NXT or whatever, that's good for me. But I want
Yeah,
to
I
see
mean,
that match.
it doesn't feel to me like Keanu James should be beating Roxanne Perez at this point in their
Oh
career,
no.
but I guess it is what it is.
The only
Let's
thing that makes
see.
sense to me is they are doing that in order to do a third match because they're both 1-1 now.
Right. All right. So then we had the main event: Ilya versus Baron Corbin, and which was a solid match. Ilya's now had three solid defenses, I think, as
Hmm.
champion. And I didn't realistically think that Corbin was going to win here, but I would have been okay with it.
Hmm.
Um, but I like Ilya a lot, and I think it serves him better to have the title at the moment. I think he's another guy that as soon as I mean, I don't want everyone to just leave NXT. I want NXT to be strong and good, but I think he's another guy that's ready for the main roster. I think he's another guy that's almost or
Uh,
right there after this title reign. When he drops the title, I think he's ready for the main roster.
I certainly think he should have a match for Bash in Berlin.
I could see him in the Rumble.
Oh yeah, but like NXT people are in the Rumble like a lot. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
common
yeah, for
thing.
sure. But I could see him in the Rumble. I could see that being fun, having him in the
But
Rumble.
like after SummerSlam,
Yeah,
put him on the main roster, give him a pay-per-view match at Bash in Berlin. The pay-per-view after SummerSlam.
yeah,
I think that's the
that works.
perfect time to insert him into the main roster.
So overall, what do you think of this show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, head of the pack, middle of the pack, back of the pack for NXT Deadline last Friday.
I would give it a thumbs middle, but Ilya and Corbin, I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it was kind of head of the pack. I mean, it wasn't like the lead horse, but if you've got 10 horses in a race and 3 are in the lead and 3 are in the middle and 4 are in the back, it's it was a second or third horse in the lead. I mean, it's at the front. It wasn't their best PLE of the year. Um, but it was solid though. It was solid. It's up there for one of the better ones of the year. So I enjoyed it. I
I'm
thought it was
really
good.
digging Corbin's pay-per-view entrances,
Yeah.
where he does the badass entrance on the motorcycle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think Corbin's the best he's ever been right now.
Interesting.
And that's
Yeah. I mean,
including
I don't.
bum ass Baron Corbin with the mustard stain
I
on
mean,
his dress shirt.
uh, I definitely think I definitely think there's a valid argument for that. I mean, this is all subjective, of course, so it's all in who you like more, at any given time. But I mean, this is probably one of the better legitimate storylines that he's had. It's not just kind of a shit sandwich that he has to deal with and swallow, which is what he does a lot of the time. So,
A lot of the time.
so I'm happy for that. I don't know if that's them thinking, I don't know if that's WWE deciding this dude's talented, but we don't like him on the main roster. Let's put him back on NXT and let's actually give him something. Or if it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm
Well,
happy
the
to see
thing
him
is,
getting
is that
something positive.
he was on NXT the first time for like 30 seconds, and then they boot him up to their main roster. So,
Yeah. All right.
like, he's at
So that
this is him actually spending time in NXT now, unlike before.
that's true. All right, so that's deadline from last Friday. So that brings us up to Raw from Monday, which was December 11th. And that show kicked off with Jay Uso heading to the ring um, to talk about CM Punk. And if he wanted them to sign with Raw or SmackDown or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Drew McIntyre came out and said no one wants to see CM Punk on Raw or in WWE before
Tell
not
me when he's
really
selling knives.
fake apologizing for injuring Sami Zayn. That's all you need to do, right? Is when you beat somebody up, just apologize and it's all okay. He's on that kick right now. And then Drew was still mad at Jay for being part of the bloodline. They argued a bit before we get into the opening match of the show, which was Drew versus Jay. They gave these two quite a bit of time. It felt like, I mean, at least it seemed like that. They went through like 3 commercial breaks. I didn't actually like clock the time, but it seemed like they gave him a good amount of time, as they should. Both these guys are, supposed to be main eventers and at the top of the pile, so they should have a good, solid match together. I'm glad they gave them some time. Drew got the win here. I'm not sure. I don't think that was a surprise when I think about it.
Mhm.
I was a little surprised. We talked about it last week about Drew making the full heel turn. Well, here he won after jabbing Jay in the eye with something, his finger or the metal thing from the turnbuckle. I'm not sure what the fuck it was, but he jabbed him in the eye with something, cheated to get the win. So we are in full Drew McIntyre heel mode at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. What'd you think?
Yeah, I dug it.
Yeah,
Good opening.
you like Drew cheating to get the win?
Hmm.
Let's see. We had Rhea and Dominic kind of in each other's face in a backstage Judgment Day segment um, over who leads the group. I don't know if this is actually like foreshadowing, some sort of fallout, but like you said, Judgment Day's reeling a little bit after Dominic's loss, the argument kind of over who's the leader, Damien's attitude in general, Rhea, even though there isn't a leader, kind of acting like a leader. So yeah, let's see. Then we had Alpha Academy, who was backstage with the Creed brothers when R-Truth came in with the Christmas lights, wish them all happy Thanksgiving before saying Judgment Day was just misunderstood. I'll continue to say it. R-Truth is the best thing on Raw. No, he's hysterical. They were like, the stuff with Alpha Academy, they were like, Judgment Day, you're not really a part of Judgment Day. He's like, are you sure? So R-Truth is pretending or thinks he's a member of Judgment Day. What do you think of this part? Or either of these segments? Judgment Day
Love
backstage or Alpha Academy?
R-Truth was probably my favorite part of the show.
There we go. Then we got, which was
Finn
essentially a
Balor saying,
squash,
I like R-Truth. What's up?
which was essentially a squash match, which was Rhea Ripley in a non-title defeating Maxine Dupree. This feels more like this is a stage to set up Rhea versus Ivy Nile than it has anything to do with Maxine Dupree. Ivy Nile was in Maxine's corner, and then once Rhea squashed Maxine, Ivy got in the ring, and they were kind of face to face. I think that's really the matchup WWE wants next, as opposed to Maxine. What do you think? What do you think of this? Anything to say?
Yeah, which I'm not really interested in that match either.
Yeah, no, I'm not overly interested in it either. Let's see. Adam Pearce was seen heading into CM Punk's locker room with the Raw contract after the break. He called Punk out to the ring to a big reaction. Punk recalled his debut at the same stadium in Cleveland, talking about the time they stripped him of the heavyweight title after Randy Orton kicked him in the head before Elimination Chamber. He said he was there to bury the ghosts and right his wrongs after apologizing to the fans for leaving. The self-proclaimed GOAT added that he was back for good and that CM Punk was home before signing with Raw. Before we talk about Seth Rollins, what do you think about just the CM Punk portion of this and the signing?
Nowhere near as good as Friday.
So it was better. So he was not very good 2 weeks or a week ago on Raw. Then he was really good on SmackDown, and now he's back to being not very good on Raw again this week.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
So
Okay.
what I'm gathering from that is he definitely should have signed to SmackDown then.
He should have signed to SmackDown. Needless to say, Seth Rollins comes out to the ring, and they get a stare down between him and CM Punk. Rollins wants to welcome him to Monday Night Rollins before telling him to not dare to call Raw his home. Rollins says 10 years ago, Punk left trying to bring the house down. He added he hated Punk and said that this was Punk's last chance. Either he was going to self-destruct like last time, or maybe he truly had changed. Regardless, Rollins said he will find out when they face each other.
Tell me
CM
where
Punk
he's
said,
telling lies. Like if Punk
CM Punk,
screws this up, the only place that's going to be willing to take him is Impact.
yeah. CM Punk said that this was the only time he would give Rollins a pass for disrespecting him and told Adam Pearce to make his Royal Rumble entry official. So Punk's in the Rumble. We're going to get Seth and Punk, obviously, at some point. In the meantime, Seth still has to deal with Nakamura, which is, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with this per se, other than I don't like CM Punk. I mean, I really hope he doesn't beat Seth Rollins for that title, although I can see the writing on the wall. That's probably what happens, as much as I
You
don't
know,
want that to happen.
I suppose I'm all right with it if Damian Priest immediately comes out, cashes in, and Punk only has it for like 30 seconds.
Somehow I don't think they'll do that, but if they did, I'd be okay with that. Let's see. We then
I,
had. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, if you want to give Punk the title, that's the way to do it without And all the Punk fans would have big heat with Damien then.
Yeah, they definitely would. I mean, it would be one way to do it. It feels like it would be a little bit of a waste of Punk, which I don't know that they want to do. But at the same time, I don't care personally. It just seems like poor booking to just only let him have it for like 30 seconds. But I guess if he comes back and has a feud with Damian Priest and then wins it again, I suppose that is whatever. I mean, I don't know.
Punk versus Priest, main event of Backlash of 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That would be fine, I would think. I mean, I don't necessarily want to see Punk at all, but if I got to see him, I mean, I don't have a problem with that particular program. I mean, that doesn't bother me. Let's see. So next we had Bronson Reed in this continuing feud with Ivar. Reed got the win here. These two have been kind of going back and forth for a little while, so it is what it is. I didn't think they had. This was not. This is a filler match. I don't know if there's anything you want to say about it or not.
Big meaty men slapping me.
There you go. Then we had CM Punk run into the Judgment Day backstage, and Priest said that he hoped Punk would finish the story on Raw so he could cash in on him. Judgment Day were out next, and R-Truth interrupted him to say he had some suggestions for the group, namely to kick JD McDonough out. Priest called him to
Mm-hmm.
the ring before they attacked him, and the Creed brothers came out to make the save. Brutus and Julius Creed wiped Judgment Day out, and the group retreated backstage. Drew told CM Punk backstage. Drew told CM Punk that he didn't care about the goat and that he was here to finish his own story. So I guess we're not getting any kind of confrontation necessarily between Drew and CM Punk at this point because Drew's on his own. Whatever. Uh, any comments on any of that? Ivar, you already commented on Ivar brought to read Judgment Day, or
If I had a
giving.
faction, I'd want R-Truth in my faction.
I agree. I agree. We had Katana Chance and Caden Carter defeat Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, in which was, you got 3 hours of time to fill. So, and you got you have women, so you might as well have a women's match. That's the best thing I can really say about this. I didn't think this doesn't seem to. I'm not sure what any of this does. I don't know. I don't know what the long term goal is with the tag team, with women's tag team wrestling in WWE at the moment. So, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
good.
mean, aside from what their champions are booked in, everything else just seems to. Well, I mean, honestly, even Rhea's storyline, like aside from the Judgment Day stuff, like Zoe Starks, meh.
Yeah.
Maxine Dupree, meh. Ivy
Yeah.
Nile, meh. Like,
Uh, I like Zoe
I
Starks
like the
better
champ.
than.
I just don't really care about the people who she's actually facing.
Yeah, I mean, I like Zoe Starks the best of those of that group, but yeah, I mean, none of them really moved the needle for me. Let's
No,
see.
SmackDown on the other hand, their women's division is looking tight.
Then we had DIY and the Miz versus Imperium. They got the win over Imperium. Yeah, this was a good match. This was one of the better matches on the show. I It's very weird to me to see like the Miz bounces back and forth. It's like one day he's a heel, one day he's a face, one day it's like whoever he's in the ring with at the time. Because clearly here with DIY, their faces here, and Imperium is definitely the heels, but Miz is always a heel. He's still a heel, so it's like this is
I
it's
was
weird.
so
Like,
happy that commentary brought up their history instead of just,
yeah,
ignoring it.
right,
Like, yeah,
uh,
these are two dudes who The Miz has feuded with in the past year.
right. I enjoyed this. I figured that the Miz would get the win here with DIY. It's leading up to the Miz versus Gunther. Again, we're gonna get that again, I'm sure. Or Ciampa versus Gunther.
You think The Miz will win this time?
No, I don't. I don't. It wouldn't surprise me if we get Ciampa Gunther again. It wouldn't surprise me to see Ciampa win, but I don't think the Miz is gonna beat Gunther at this point. I just don't. I think they see Gunther as bigger than the Miz and better than the Miz. If Miz wins, it's going to be by cheating, a low blow, something like that. Which he's
And he's
now.
portraying the babyface right now.
I was just saying right now he's the babyface, so he can't really do that. So I don't. Yeah. So, but again, the Miz is, even though he's portraying the babyface, he is still always a heel. So like, he could do that and take the title and then just be like, all right. I don't. So, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see if they, when they wrestle again, what the outcome is.
How do you
Um,
feel about the Mrs. Big Ball walk?
Biz big ball walk. I don't know. I think it's tacky myself, but it is what it is. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, does he have
Now, for
big
the people
balls?
at home listening that don't understand, so he crouches down and he walks down to the ring looking like he's holding two giant bowling balls in his arms.
Yeah, it's classy. It's definitely, it's the height of class. No, I mean it's tacky. Grabbing your balls in general is kind of tacky. So,
Well, he doesn't grab his
um,
balls, he hangs his arms down like some
but
sort
you know
of
what I'm saying, though.
monkey.
The idea of like grabbing your balls. I mean, it's the same kind of concept as the chop block, the nut shot. The nut chop or whatever. It's all the entendre, right? The implication is that you're. So I'm not a big fan of all that stuff, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm boring and stodgy, so take that for what it's worth. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily care for it, but okay. The crowd seems to like it. They think it's funny. You like it? You think it's funny?
Um, I like the Mrs. promos.
Yeah. Then we have the
It's
main
hard for me
eventer.
to say anything else I like about him. I like his promos.
I like his promos. Let's see. Then we had the main event of the show, which was
Oh,
Cody
well,
Rhodes defeat.
before
Go
we
ahead.
go on about the Mrs. promos, like
Yes.
he gave the best promo in an LA Knight feud.
Yeah, no, the Miz is money on the mic. I mean, he definitely is. I mean, that's definitely his strongest suit. He's not a bad wrestler. He's not. The only problem I have with him in the ring is that he's not the most athletic person. So sometimes some of his stuff doesn't come off as great, doesn't translate and look great. Um,
Oh,
but
oh, oh. He interviewed John Cena, and John Cena beat him up. A lot of people online
his
didn't like that, but I thought that was funny.
his storytelling in the ring is great, and his promo work is great. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's had a long, illustrious career in WWE for sure. I mean, he's what, two-time Grand Slam winner, one time. Well, he's won it one time for sure. I mean, he's definitely a Grand Slam winner.
Two,
I don't know if
two
he's won
time,
it
two time.
two times. So I mean, yeah, I mean, he's had a long, illustrious career.
Uh,
I mean, I've been a Miz fan for a long time.
I'm pretty sure he's the only two time.
Yeah, see, even better. Let's see. So moving on to the main event of Raw for Monday, we had Cody Rhodes defeat Shinsuke Nakamura. Actually, it was um, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess he did beat him by DQ. Let's see. What did you think about this overall match? I don't think it actually technically didn't finish. Right? He hit him with the Kinshasa. He went to get a chair, and then the Creed brothers came down and chased him away. Right? I mean, I don't remember there
I don't.
actually being an
I don't
actual
think the
finish.
miss should be a DQ.
Huh?
I don't think the miss should be a DQ.
Yeah, you don't.
Let
You
them
just keep
fight.
going.
Let them
Let
fight.
them fight. Let them fight. Uh, let's see. I this was
And
okay.
also, like, if we're having it to be a DQ, like, then Oscar's matches should end more often in DQs because she
Yeah,
missed girls a lot.
yeah, she does. She does. She does. I thought this was okay. I feel like I feel like I did about um Christian and Adam Copeland or Edge, whatever you want to call them. I feel like these two held a little bit back. I feel like you could tell that they were holding something back for another match down the road. They didn't want to just put it all out here. It felt like they stayed kind of in second gear, never really moved it into third or fourth gear, which I think they can and I think they will. I think there's more matches down the road between these two. I think this is a nice little feud here, so I'm here for it. I thought this was a good
Um,
kind of
Day
opening warm
one,
up
is that
match.
Raw?
What?
Is day one Raw? Yeah,
That's a
day
good
one is
question.
a Raw episode.
I believe so. Yeah,
So I assume they'll bring it back then in like what,
probably,
3 weeks time? Is it three
probably.
weeks time?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought this was a solid, okay ending. Um, Nakamura was gone, but then he ran back into the ring and blindsided Cody with a knee strike before Raw went off the air. Yeah, I mean, this for me personally, because I'm a Shinsuke fan, this is the most I've enjoyed Cody, the most interested I've been in what Cody's done since he's been back. But I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan, so I'm here for the Shinsuke stuff. I hope he ends up coming out in the long run, winning this war battle, whatever this war. Probably not, because Cody Rhodes is the big star, but we'll see. Um, Anything else you want
I
to say about
mean,
this match
well,
for Raw?
uh, when you say come back, do you mean after the purple teddy?
Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, kind of.
Well, for me, then it's number two because the number one was him winning the Rumble and then feuding with Roman. That's number one for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
I'm
this
not,
this is a solid number two since then.
yeah, I mean, I like this better than the Seth Rollins stuff. Um, I
And
don't,
Seth Rollins stuff was before the purple teddy.
oh, yeah, it was, you're right. I still like it better than the Seth Rollins stuff, too. I mean, so far. I mean, we'll see where they go. It hasn't had as much time yet to do what Seth Rollins did or what Roman Reigns did, but so far I like it more. I'm not a Roman Reigns fan, and I'm Mets on Seth Rollins, but I really like Shinsuke. So for me, this one just moves the needle a little bit more, makes me a little more
I'm still
interested.
flabbergasted how Cody was able to turn Seth Rollins into a babyface with the purple titty.
Right? He definitely
Like
did.
you would have thought that would have gotten him heel heat, but then everybody was like, "Nah, we respect Seth because he was able to safely work with an injured dude to that
Right.
extent and deliver a good match." And it's
Yeah. So overall,
like,
front and middle of the back of the pack for Raw this week.
um, it's another one of those where I'm in between front and middle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's a little behind. If we're talking just the three shows we're going to review today, it was a little behind the pack in Deadline. I thought Deadline was definitely better than Raw, but it was a PLE, so it should be. Um, and
So
I mean,
top
it's
of
not
middle,
fair to compare. Go ahead.
top of middle.
Yeah, I was going to say top and middle. That's what I was going to say. Like the front and the middle of the pack. I thought this was a solid Raw. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't really have any complaints other than my standard complaint, which is just that the show is always too long.
If it
So
wasn't for our truth, I would have just given it a solid middle. But our truth gives it a top of middle.
I would agree with that. All right, so that takes us into NXT from last night, the last show we're going to review tonight here for you guys. This was last night, December 12th. It started off with dum 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 Brooks and
Boo.
Jensen
Boo.
and Fallon
Boo.
Henley. Actually, it really started off with a video package recapping NXT Deadline. Cora Jade opened the show. She said she was the show, or that the show was better with her involved. Um, Cora, she did put over the women's Iron Survival Challenge participants, but said that no one was talking about them because she was the talk of the town on her return. Lyra Valkyria interrupted Jade and told her that there was nothing she could do about her. Um, Blair Davenport interrupted. Davenport and Jade attacked Valkyria, but Nikita Lyons made the save. So Valkyria has obviously got an alliance with Nikita Lyons, I guess, which is all right.
People seem
Nikita
to be
Lyons is
happy to have her back.
Nikita. Yeah, people do seem to be. Yeah, they did seem to be happy to have her back. I'm not totally sure why, but they did seem to be happy to have her back. Uh, Dragon Lee, our new North American champion, was interviewed by Kelly Kincaid, where he wished Wesley a speedy recovery and announced an open challenge for the show tonight. And that brought us to our first match, which is on the ticker, which is down here, which is Josh Briggs and Brooke Jensen, Fallon Henley, getting the win over Sammy Joe's favorite NXT faction, metaphor.
Boo. 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 Boo all these
Not
people
only
besides Josh Briggs. Boo.
not only is it his favorite faction, but he thinks the name is perfect. Sammy Joe thinks the name is great. As you can tell, this is dripping with sarcasm. We are not metaphor fans here. I do like Noam Dar. He's the only one of metaphor I like, and even him sometimes he leaves me a little dry. But yes, Josh Briggs is the only one out of these guys that I like. Any of these people that I like, he deserves so much more than being stuck with these guys. This whole shit show. But at least they got the win. So let's see. Then we had Carmelo and Trick talking backstage about the injury, where he says that he did not know who attacked him, but recognized who hit like that. He said he would call out his possible attacker tonight. Then we had a showcase of the men's breakout tournament before Lexus King attacked one of the participants, Trey Bear Hill.
Bear
Did any
Hill.
of the Bear Hill? Do any of these guys so far stand out for you from the breakout tournament?
Um, uh, Luca. I think that he's gonna join with the
D'Angelo
family.
with the family. He's
I
Italian. Why not?
I think he's gonna be uh, Tony D's lawyer and get him out of trouble and stuff.
Tony D's lawyer. All right.
Like
Let's see.
he looks like he has a solid spot on the roster of where he can just plug himself in and be a
Yeah.
thing on weekly TV. Like that's more than
Yeah.
you can say about basically everybody else in it.
Yeah. Oba Femi defeated Miles Bourne in the men's breakout first round match. Thought it was an okay match. Not a whole lot to say about it. I thought it was okay. Oba looks the part.
He
We'll see.
does.
You know, I don't have a problem with that. So I guess we'll see what ends up happening there. Anything you want to say about the match?
Has WWE done well with anybody who went by the name Bourne?
Mm, no, not really.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Uh,
So I don't
let's.
expect anything for him.
Then we have backstage Lyra and Nikita, where they talked about their match against Cora and Blair. To see. Oh, Lyra opened up her locker to see a picture of herself and Tatum Paxley, who bamboozled her. So I guess there's that story between Lyra and Tatum that's going to be coming. That's foreshadowing of that story, I suppose. Then we had Dragon Lee defeat Tyler Bate in the North American Championship defense. His first one.
Tyler Bate,
This was
Tyler Bate, Tyler Bate. Sorry.
this was probably my favorite match of the show. It was. I think it was the best match of the show. I like both these guys a lot. I'm glad Dragon Lee's the champion now. I'm glad I don't have to see Dominic with this belt anymore. And I'm a huge fan of Tyler Bate. So let's see. Then we had Brooks and Jensen backstage, um, talking about. Let's see. Who said that they? Oh, before Fallon Henley joined in, who said she left because every time she sees blonde, she sees red. Josh Briggs says that he wanted to drink from the Heritage Cup. Then we had Lexus King bragging about him attacking Trey Bearhill, telling Ava Rain that he aimed to wreak havoc. Ava told King that everyone in the tournament wanted a piece of him. What do you think about Ava Rain? And are they trying to? Are we going to get Ava Rain and Lexus King together? I don't. I mean, are they just chatting
Uh,
because they just ran into each other backstage? I mean, I'm a little confused about why they're talking to each other.
I'd dig it. Second generation wrestler with a fourth generation wrestler.
Yeah. Let's see. We then had Eddie Thorpe defeat Dijak by DQ. Um, the ring broke with one of the turnbuckles being unbuckled. Dijak hit Thorpe with the buckle, leading to a disqualification, and then Dijak continued to attack him after the match. Not really a whole lot to say about here. Um, I don't. This feud has done nothing for me, honestly.
Mm.
which is unfortunate because I like Dijak. I don't want to put the blame on Eddie Thorpe, but I like Dijak, and as a general rule, I think he has decent feuds. And this one has just left me flat, so I can't do anything but put it on Eddie Thorpe at this point. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. What do you think? Anything about this?
Um, I wish it didn't end in DQ. I would have preferred like actually having the match, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly leading towards something, right? They're going to put these guys in steel cage. They're going to put them in some sort of a, Hell in a Cell, something, right? So whatever. That's my guess. I mean, that's what it seems to be leading to. Not that I think
But
anybody
these are
cares, but
two dudes with solid potential, you know, like should be able to
yeah,
get a
I'm
good match
getting.
out of them.
It's tough with Dijak because now he's been around for a while. It feels like he's been in WWE, either NXT or on the roster when he was with Retribution, which was a total shit show. But for a while now, and it's like, are you going to actually finally do something with him? I mean, we say the future is bright, but I don't think Dijak's young anymore, and I don't know like how much more of a bright future we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Let's see. Moving right along. Then we had Chase University brainstorm charity ideas before Andre Chase told him that he would take care of it. To which Drew Cutler responded with this: "Oh, you will, because you look like shit." Uh, JC Jane and Thea Hale went to watch Osborne's match against Keanu Carver, terrible name, in the NXT Breakout Tournament before Scripps gave Andre Chase a metal suitcase. Uh, okay. Blair Davenport and Corey Jade spoke backstage again with Blair telling Jade, or not again, with Blair telling Jade that they would work together tonight, but that she was winning the title on New Year's Evil. Jade told Davenport that she could work with that. Then we had Riley Osborne defeat Keanu Carver in another breakout match, first round match. Anything about this match?
I think I got up to make a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, this one, Obafemi, I thought looks the part. I liked the first match a little bit better than this one. Thea Hale and JC Jane watched this match from the guy. It looks like maybe Thea Hale has a thing for Riley Osborne. I'm not sure. There was a little kind of weird, like flirting at some point during the show between those two. So I'm
Yeah.
not totally sure what's going on there. I don't know if they're going to try to recruit him to chase you. I don't. Neither of these guys really got to move the needle for me. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe as this breakout tournament progresses, these guys will start to look a little bit better. But I wasn't overly impressed here. Then we had Drew Gulak, Damon Kemp, Charlie Dempsey, and Miles Bourne confront Dragon Lee, where Gulak asked if he would pay tributes to Wesley every week. Lee responded by saying that he has an open challenge every week, to which Gulak responded by saying they will accept his challenge for next week. Uh,
Which
they will.
I'm
The question.
I, I
Go ahead.
I'm excited for. I like Gulak.
I do too. The question is it Gulag that's going to be challenging, or because it says they will accept? So I guess the question is which one of them
Oh.
is it going to be Gulag or Dempsey or Kemp or Bourne that actually wrestles? I'm hoping it's Gulag, but I like this faction. I wish they gave this little faction some
Hmm.
more structure. I like Gulak. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Damon Kemp, but he's okay. I love Charlie Dempsey, and I'm here for Miles Bourne. So, I like this. I think they could be a strong little NXT faction if they let them. You know what I mean? So,
I mean
uh,
Gulak. He's the one who trained. Oh, I'm spacing on his name right now. Blackpool Combat Club.
Wheeler Yuta,
Yeah, he's the guy who trained Wheeler Yuta. Then you got the
right?
son of William Regal,
Yeah,
like Damon Kemp, like
the brother of
he's
Gable
an
Stevenson.
Olympic wrestler. Like you
Yeah,
sort of got like a mini Blackpool Combat Club going on here.
yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think it could be a very solid NXT faction if they gave them some time and some structure and some storylines. Let's see. Do do do. Then we had the main event of the show, or the main event match of the show, which was Blair Davenport and Cora Jade defeating Lyra Valkyria and Nikita Lyons. Um, I thought it was an okay match. Tatum Paxley confronted Lyra after the match. What'd you think of the match?
Um, I would have preferred it without Nikita Lyons or Cora Jade.
Yeah, yep. I think that's a consensus that uh, nobody was nobody really cared for Cora Jade, and I don't necessarily care for this whole now I'm back to bad girl, whatever, whatever. I don't think I still don't think it fits her. I still don't think she's found the right thing for her. It definitely wasn't the skateboarding chick that didn't hit. I don't think this has hit so far. We'll see. I mean, it's only been a couple weeks since she's doing this, so I guess we'll kind of let it play out. I mean, we don't have much choice because they're going to play it out. But
I mean,
at this
the
point,
best
it's
she
not hitting for me.
was pretending to be the Painmaker,
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true.
walking around in a black leather jacket with studs and carrying around a baseball bat. She was the
Yeah.
Painmaker of NXT. That was the best she
Uh,
was.
so that was the final match. But before the show went off the air, we had Hank and Tank backstage
And
before they were
continue.
confronted by by Gallus. Hank and Tank told Coffee to not get involved in their tag match, but Coffee said there would be no need. And then Joe Gacy appeared from out of nowhere. I kind of, the Joe Gacy stuff is interesting to me.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I necessarily see the direction, but I like
Oh,
it.
you're assuming they have a direction.
Right. No, it feels very directionless, but I still like it though. And maybe that adds to it because Casey's just Gacy is kind of just out there, right? So maybe he doesn't have a direction and it adds to the craziness, right? So
I, I, he had me wondering where's he gonna pop up next.
right. Yep.
Like,
No,
is
it's
it
like
gonna be
where's
the
Waldo?
NXT showers? Like, is he gonna be under Shawn Michaels' desk? Like, where's he gonna be next time?
That's funny. All right, and then the show really ended with Trick Williams cutting a promo about winning the men's Iron Survivor match, where he compared himself to both the sports greats, including LeBron James. And when he said, "I'm Trick James, bitch," Ilya interrupted him and put him over for his efforts. They talked about their match in New Year's Evil. Carmelo Hayes interrupted and blamed Dragunov for attacking Williams 2 months ago, and Hayes tonight. Dragunov said that he didn't attack them before saying that he did not believe Hayes was attacked tonight. Hayes tried to take the belt off Dragunov, but accidentally hit Williams with the belt. And the show ended in confusion as the crowd chanted, Mello is guilty to the end of the broadcast. So clearly, we're not at a resolution yet between this. We still don't know who attacked Trick. And now Mello says he was attacked, and there's a debate about whether he was or not. And what do you think about this? You like this storyline?
I've said from the beginning, it's not Mello.
Yeah, I don't think it's Mello either.
I thought it was
But
Joe
overall,
Gacy, but
oh,
now
yeah.
they've been throwing the Lexus King out there.
Yeah.
But I said from the beginning, I think it's Joe Gacy.
If it's Lexus King, I'm disappointed. If it's Joe Gacy, I'm much more excited. The one that makes sense for the story, even though I don't think it is Mello, just because that seems to be where they're pointing everything and what the story would lead to. But at the same time, I don't like that. I mean, I don't. I'm not a big fan of that idea. I'd rather see Trick and Mello just stay friends and do their own thing. But um, I thought this was a solid way to end the show. I mean, there's not what I would call a whole lot of long-term storylines or storytelling on NXT at this point. This is one of the few of them. Might be the only one really. The whole Trick and Mellow stuff with the attacking at the moment. So, at least there's something. I kind of like having something. It's a little bit long-term, a little bit storytelling. So, I thought it was okay. What do you think of this overall episode? Front, middle, back of the pack for this week's
Needed
NXT.
more Chad Gable, middle of the pack.
More cowbell. Always need more Chad Gable on our TV. Yeah, I would say this was middle of the pack as well. Probably, yeah, it's a solid middle of the pack. I thought it, if I'm giving it a grade, it's a C plus show, probably CC
Alpha
plus.
Academy made Metaphor watchable for me.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. So let's see. That brings us to the end of NXT from last night. I'll go ahead and put up our little schedule here, let y'all know what's coming up or what we're doing. This is our weekly schedule every Monday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. You get Dolores and J News live doing Seeing Stars, where they talk about New Japan and GCW and all the other anything else that they want to talk about in the world of indies and all the up and coming stars. Make sure to check that out. It's a great show. Lots of great knowledge being given out on that show. On Tuesday nights, we have the Cookout live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern or Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. We play games and do all sorts of other stuff, have interviews. So yesterday was the Horsey Awards. Next week will be night 2 of the Horsey Awards, so make sure and join us for those. Uh,
We will be
Wednesday,
naming who the best wrestlers of the year are.
yes, best men's and women's wrestler of the year on next week's Horsey Award night 2. So make sure to join us for that. You're here with us tonight. It started at 7:15 Pacific, 10:15 Eastern, all for NAWT. Where myself and Sammy Joe have just reviewed Deadline and Monday Night Raw and NXT from this week. Tomorrow
All
you
for
get
Not,
after.
All
Yep.
for Not will not be back until January 3rd.
All for Not will not be back until January 3rd. Thursday, tomorrow, you get Aftermath of Dynamite. It'll be myself and Anika talking about last week's Rampage and Collision and Dynamite from tonight. That's at 7:15 Pacific, 10:15 Eastern, live. So make sure and join us tomorrow night for that. Then Friday night, make sure you're here an hour early, 4 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific for Friday night fights, where it's going to be SmackDown, Rampage, and the Final Battle, Ring of Honor Final Battle pay per view. That's why it's starting an hour early. So make sure and join Sammy Joe and Anika for that. Then Saturday in the morning, you get the pre recorded show Under the Radar, myself and CM reviewing Impact, Ring of Honor, Being the Dark Order, and MLW. And then
Woot
Saturday
woot.
night, we're live again for Saturday Night is All Right for Fighting, or Saturday Night is All Right, where we watch Collision, our Collision watch along. So that starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday nights. Then Sunday, it is myself and Sammy Joe fighting it out for the King of the Ring title. This is Enter the Square Circle, where we play WWE 2K23. And right now, we are in the midst of the tag team tournament. So, remind me, is this the episode with the finals yet, or we got one more before the finals?
No, that'll be New Year's.
New Year's will be the finals. So we got a few more episodes before the finals. So make sure to tune in and enjoy all the exciting tag team action. That is our weekly schedule. Make sure if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified. We always post a notification for all of our shows. So if you hit the bell to be notified and set up notifications, you'll always know when we're dropping new stuff. We're also on Twitch and Facebook and Twitter or X all the time when we drop our stuff. So make sure and join us there. I'm trying to see here. We've got other stuff here that Dolores wants us to talk about. The Horsey Awards. Oh, April 2nd, we're going to have our Workhorse Hall of Fame. So make sure that's obviously a little ways down the road, but just
Yeah, we
letting you
ain't
know what's
fooling.
going on. Huh?
April 2nd, we ain't fooling.
Right? So, unless you got anything else to say, I guess we'll wrap it up for the evening.
Uh, yeah, LW, do the nasty.
Yeah, I'm okay. On on that note, thank you again for joining us as usual for the most chaotic wrestling show on the internet. All for naught. Until next time,
Yeah.
peace.